Welcome to Casting the Spotlight episode number 172. We are back, just the solo originals here tonight.
Oh yeah.
Man, I don't know what you guys all thought about Nick and Gene, but
It was a good time.
I think they did knock it out of the park. Yeah. It was. Even listening to it back, I was like, I definitely felt like they stepped into their own, and like whenever Nick, went after superheroes, and that's like his thing. He was like, you could tell he was in his element, talking about all the stuff that he's normally, accustomed to and everything. Obviously, other than like wrestling, because we were going to talk about Mania and stuff. But yeah, I think they found something. That was solid.
Yeah, I had a good time with them.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, moving on to tonight.
Oh yeah.
We've got a good edition of the new
Going
segment.
Back to it.
And we're going to play a little this or that.
I look forward to this segment now. It's like, man.
No, I do too. It's honestly, it keeps it like the rhythm going of like the solos. Like they'd be fun anyway, catching up, talking stuff. But it's like, it kind of puts us in a direction of things that we can dabble into a lot of. Mm-hmm. And we don't always know where it's going, but we know it's going to be fun and interesting.
Yeah.
So, we're going to play a little this or that. One thing against basically a gauntlet of categories. And tonight's category is going to be action/adventure movies. Films. We did comedy movies, so that's basically the only genre we've done. So I guess we've done horror movies because we did like high-standing horror movies that we knew one another respected at least and liked.
Some of the best horror movies, and then we did worst installments.
Yes, and then specific stuff like Christmas movies.
Yeah,
that are geared towards obviously a certain time of year.
But straight up genre, comedy's been the only one, I believe.
Yeah. And this is kind of because I would say horror, like we kind of did that though in a way. Because that gets its own sort of thing anyway. I don't know if we would do horror movies necessarily. Not that we wouldn't do it outside of that time of year, but I don't know if like I think because we the second time around we thought we picked some of the best ones too. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I guess I see what you're saying though. Like in a way that's kind of. So I'm like, I don't really know how far that stretches. Like I don't know if we'd even hit certain genres in this segment with the movies or not. Like a bunch of different ones, or we would keep it. Remote to like a few.
Depends on how many films you can think of for the genre.
Most always, all this stuff is tied back to films either way.
Yeah.
Most of these, but there's a lot of TV shows.
Sorts of entertainment.
Oh yeah, obviously wrestlers. But tonight's action adventure movies we picked, and I got my main thing for Elijah. The main one you're going to be running against the other 10, playing a little this versus that. This or that, however you want to phrase it. Your main one is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Nice.
The original.
Okay. It's a good one.
The original.
I do like that one.
I know. It's honestly one of the all-time greats. And I would even say it's one of the all-time still in Marvel, like in the MCU, let's say, to this day, for sure. I think the whole trilogy was good. I think maybe 3 was better than 2. And maybe 1, even though I felt like 2 was pretty good still. 1 had such a banger of a soundtrack, but it also just everything fit the vibe of that movie.
Yeah, 1 is definitely the one I've seen the most. I've seen 2 maybe twice. I don't think I've seen 3. Still.
You need to see 3 because 3 is good, but either way, I'm sure you've seen the first one enough times to take it through some.
5+.
So that'll be your one, and I knew you liked it also. So I was like, this is a good because this is one of the probably for sure upper echelon Marvel movies that have been made. And there have been quite a few, but this one's definitely like up there. Especially that like a non-Avengers movie. This is about as good as they've gotten. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like their own group outside of all the Avengers superheroes.
So, all right. Well, first up, action adventure movies. We're gonna take Guardians of the Galaxy or National Treasure. We talked about that a little bit when Nick Cage came up twice on both of our lists.
Yeah, I really like National Treasure. It's like one of my favorite, because it's like treasure hunting.
Yeah.
Kind of too, and it's
historical, like
in American history, and a lot of that stuff, like all the shit that I'm like kind of like this stuff's dope. It sort of has that. I think I gotta go National Treasure. Actually.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, it's the first time I finally saw it. I saw it advertised all the time, and I didn't watch it until like a little before school, or I don't know. And then we watched him in school, and I was like really into him. I was like, man, this stuff is interesting. It combines, like you were saying, some of your favorite elements: history, action, adventure, like actually just these kinds of movies
treasure hunting
that they treasure hunting, like looking for shit. But no, it was good. And like Nicolas Cage, obviously, like he was good in both of them. I feel like I liked both of them. I really thought
I think
both
the
of them
first one I liked a lot more than 2.
Really, a lot?
I think so. But 2, I still got enjoyment out of.
Yeah.
It's not like I hated it.
I liked them both, but I will agree that one's probably better.
Yeah.
But next up, you got Guardians of the Galaxy or 300.
Damn, dude. This is making me seem like I hate Guardians of the Galaxy. But I love 300, man.
Oh,
it's
man.
just like the way that movie is styled, even like the like lighting, and it's like it's kind of real but kind of comic at the same time. It's like realistic art. It almost feels like the way that movie is styled and how it looks, the way the landscape is.
Was that a Zack Snyder film?
Yeah, his best film. So yeah, I'm gonna go 300.
Okay, damn. Damn, this actually might go a little worse for Guardians than I thought it would. It's not even that I thought you would necessarily take it over that. I just put some good competitors out there. But I'm like, and this isn't an encouragement or whatever. Don't let my words derail you no matter what happens. But like, I didn't know for sure, but I was like, I think Guardians is strong enough to at least get over some of these. But I was looking at this list and I'm like, it's not necessarily going to be the easiest, depending on what's in your brain about your fandom here. But
Marvel fans are like,
don't let that at all, for better or worse, influence your shit.
But like National Treasure and 300 are 2 movies that I hold probably at a higher standard than a lot of people do.
Yeah, but you might hold some of these other ones that I see too. In fact, I know you hold some of them. I'm gonna go with it though. I'm not gonna change it on account of anything.
Guardians of the Galaxy, dude, and I it is good. I enjoy it. I'll say that right now. Preface it.
People will be like,
I really
first.
do enjoy it.
Action adventure movies. All right. Well, next up we got Guardians of the Galaxy or Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Dude, you already know what's happening. Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark's gotta win. That and the Temple of Doom were like 2 of the best action adventure films of all time.
Oh yeah.
It's like the combination of the style. Whenever you say action adventure, Indiana Jones is what comes to mind.
Yeah. Especially the adventure part. I mean, there's action in there too, but it's
I feel like your list is gonna hit heavier than mine, because you're putting some bangers in yours. I do have some bangers in mine, but I'm like, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy, man, that's probably gonna take quite a few, and it's down 0-3.
Do you think? So, what would you say? As we have an interweave here between our next one, but not really. I just created that out of thin air. But we basically have Guardians, so far. But like, would you say that was your top 5 Marvel movies? Let's say, like, not counting Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Like, I know, what are some of your favorites? I know you knew, like, Endgame and Infinity War. I think you like both of those a lot.
Yeah, I like those.
No Way Home, I know, but that was obviously the Spider-Man came back and everything.
Yeah.
That's like an obvious good one.
Yeah, I'd have to look up the whole list.
You saw the Iron Man trilogy. You saw all 3 Captain Americas.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably not a lot you would take that's not Avengers that you would take over it though, would you? Do you think that?
I mean,
do you think Guardians 1 or Thor Ragnarok was better?
Probably the first Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah, Infinity War was dope. Doctor Strange was a good time.
It was. Endgame,
First
best of all time.
Guardians. Endgame. Winter Soldier. That was alright. Still need to see Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I was trying to gauge your where Guardians ranked, but either way, it would probably be among the 5. Would it be in the top 5? You think,
probably,
or at least close to it?
Probably at least close.
Yeah.
I'd have to have them all laid out in front of me, but I do like that one a lot.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's not like you're
I'm not
like
the biggest Marvel fan in general, but I have enjoyment with a lot of the movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and there's no denying that some of them were for sure good. Like, to great, you know, even.
They were blockbusters, you know. They were a good time.
Guardians of the Galaxy or Rambo Last Blood.
Man. I do love most of the Rambo series. Last Blood surprised me though, because like I didn't expect much out of it. I was like, man, he's getting pretty old. I don't know, but they found a way to still make it pretty dope.
Yeah.
Like I still enjoyed it a lot. But that being said, I think I'm gonna give the first one to Guardians here.
Yeah.
Just first by a hair, just because it was kind of like Guardians felt more like an event to me. You know what I mean? I've went back and rewatched it more times than I've seen Last Blood.
At least you got to see Last Blood in theaters.
Yeah. That was a dual picture night.
Mm-hmm.
That was like one of the only times I've done that.
Yeah, and then one of my times I told you was with Ninja Turtles and Guardians actually. Guardians like opening night, I believe.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you're out of there, you're like, man, you're exhausted. You know.
It's a lot of movie.
Yeah, you're like, I'm done kind of watching things for a minute.
It's a lot of movie,
but it is a good time. It's almost better though to have like a while between the movies, so you can go out and stretch your legs for a while. And now they got a bar there. You go get a drink. You can play some games in the arcade. Go back for another movie. You know.
If you go to Ronnie's.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's not. I had fun doing that, honestly. Because like that, we had to go right into Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. But like that timing couldn't have worked out better because we just got out of there and went right to the next. Then again, we were in and out of the theater quicker because it was like that instead of having like a break between them. But back to it. Guardians of the Galaxy. You took it over Last Blood.
Yep.
Okay, well,
it's on the board.
Guardians of the Galaxy or War for the Planet of the Apes. See, and here's the thing. I will put over Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and I'm not taking away from it either, but I do feel like all 4 of those even, they're all good to great, and like they're all pretty close in proximity, I feel like. It's not like, it's like, yeah, Dawn is great, and possibly, even by a hair, the number one.
Oh yeah.
But it's not like...
It is the number one.
But it's not like it's far and above the rest of them. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, they're all
very really quality. Close. Yeah, they're all pretty close.
I really, really like that series.
Yeah. It is one of the underrated ones.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Dawn is my favorite, but I don't know what my second would be between Rise and War.
Yeah. You wouldn't put Kingdom second?
I mean, out of
You have
just
to see
that
it again.
trilogy, I feel
Oh,
like
yeah,
Kingdom I would count as like something sort of different. You know what I mean?
It is, but it's
the
also part of
Caesar
the
trilogy,
same.
You know what I mean? Caesar's, he's still like talked about all the time,
Yeah.
but he's more like a god now.
He made a big difference, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I'm in the minority when I say I probably have more of a like fandom for those movies than some of the Marvel ones.
Yeah.
So like part of me wants to pick War, but also Guardians, man.
I don't personally know what I would say if I had that question
I
either.
think I'm gonna go with War slightly. That one is like super close though.
Yeah. War was fantastic though. It was like
Yeah. Woody Harrelson, man.
Yeah.
The dude. He was in it. The villain. He plays a good villain.
No, he always does. He always has. Guardians of the Galaxy or The Goonies?
That's like a childhood movie. You know?
It is, yeah. I don't know if this day me and Harry ever watched anything more than that. We watched that and Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace a lot the first summer he came over, the whole summer.
Yeah, I remember watching that a handful of times as a kid. There was definitely some iconic moments. I mean, a lot of fun to be had in that movie. What was the guy's name?
Sloth?
Sloth. Why can't I...
Chunk? Data?
I know, yeah, Chunk was, yeah.
Mouth?
Poor Tyler.
Yeah. AKA Tyler Stevens. At least he was like 16.
When he had that hair. There's that hair.
Yeah. That's for sure. He
Uh,
was Corey Feldman.
Nah. You don't want to be...
Dude, that son of a bitch, he fucking got
He
us
was
into paying for some shit.
Dude, yeah. Then it was like, what if I
And
get
then
it?
the world, he was right, man. The world shut down shortly after that. It did. It was like a month after. Oh,
It's
man.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Goonies or...
Yeah, I think
Guardians
I'll
of the
take
Galaxy.
Guardians.
Yeah. Yeah, like... Yeah. The Goonies is... It's mainly held up... It's not that it wasn't a great action-adventure movie, because it wasn't
No,
another
a
way.
lot of people say it's like one of the most iconic action-adventure movies of all time.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Just like...
It had some great people working for it, too. Like, it was like... I'm trying to think of the writer. Like, obviously, Steven Spielberg. I don't know if he directed it, or that might have been Chris Donner or somebody like that.
Yeah, I don't know if that was...
But it was a Spielberg creation, I believe. I think he wrote it. Would be a shocker. He's made so many fucking hits, you know?
Yeah, he's been...
He don't really miss. Like Jurassic Park, Jaws. You know, he directed Lincoln, too. He's, you know... What the hell was that? Close Encounters of a Third Kind? Did you ever see that?
I don't think so. That was an early one from him, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
E.T.
E.T. was a big one of his.
But
Yeah,
he
all
might
the
be
Indiana Jones.
number one of all time. You know?
Yeah.
He's certainly like in the
Adventures
top
of
3.
Tintin. That was like a dope animated movie.
But I could see somebody making the case because of what he's been able to do, his innovation, his ideas. Indiana Jones, like he had a heavy hand in all of those. So if someone were to say or make the claim that he's the greatest of all time, I don't think really anybody would argue with him. You know?
Schindler's List, that was a huge one for
Yeah,
him.
so
Private Ryan, Catch
Yep.
Me If You Can, Minority Report.
Oh, he did that. We said I thought it was Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, it was him, I think.
Wow. Yeah, he
but
was.
wait, hold up. Let's see actually here.
Yeah, we need to see
Because
that.
I think
We can't
there
butcher
was
that.
something to do with that movie. Because for some reason in my head that was Scorsese's something too. Yeah, director Steven Spielberg.
Okay, that actually makes sense because Scorsese had Gangs of New York coming out that year anyway. So it wouldn't have been 2 movies by the same guy.
Yeah, he has a lot of them.
So you're gonna go Guardians over the Goonies?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Guardians of the Galaxy or Star Trek 2009.
I kind of enjoyed those movies.
They were really good, I thought. Did you think Into Darkness is better, or do you think the first one?
Was there 3 of them? There was 3 of them.
Into Darkness, and then it was Star Trek
one.
Beyond.
Yeah, I maybe have seen Beyond twice, but that's one I definitely remember the least.
I thought we tried to watch it at Cheatham's a time or two.
Yeah,
I thought I watched some of it when I was in the hospital. Like, I don't remember what the fuck happened.
I think I've seen it through at least once at this point.
Yeah, you like that. I know it's like one of those movies where you were like half asleep for some of it. I was too. I didn't know what the fuck I had seen. I kind of wouldn't mind watching all 3 of them again.
Yeah.
You know.
I think I like
the first one might be the best one. I don't know. It's I don't know.
I
would have to
like
watch
Into
it
Darkness a little more, but yeah, I'd have to watch them all again.
They were all solid though.
That said, I'll probably go Guardians.
All right. Yeah. It's fighting back.
Yeah, it's getting back in it.
It's fighting back. All right. Well, we'll see if the tide turns or not. Next up, we got, and this is action adventure films, by the way, if you're just now tuning in. Guardians of the Galaxy.
On the radio here,
yeah.
XM.
And they flipped to this spot. Guardians of the Galaxy or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990.
Oh yeah, that one.
You're taking it? Is that what you mean?
I think so.
The original, man. That one's a banger.
Yeah, that's probably still my favorite.
Ninja Turtles?
Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah, mine too, for sure.
That whole like run of the 90s Turtles was dope. But that's probably my favorite one.
So you were taking that too? Then Guardians has only 3 so far. 3 to 5.
Yeah.
5 over Guardians. Damn! It might turn though. I don't know.
Wait, what have I taken? I've only taken it over 3?
Yeah, you took it over, didn't you take it over Rambo Last Blood?
Yeah.
You took it over the Goonies? You took it over Star Trek.
That's it, huh?
Ninja Turtles, huh?
Yeah.
So it's your favorite one?
Probably.
Secret of the Use after that, or TMNT?
Some of the newer ones aren't bad. Like, I don't know if you've seen Mutant Mayhem yet.
Yeah, I did.
That
I saw
good.
it. I saw it in theaters too.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. I still need to see it again, but I thought the animation in that was like sick.
It was cool.
Yeah, TMNT was good.
Secret of the Use is pretty
Secret of the
solid
Use
too.
is probably the second best. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some of the later ones aren't bad. Even the...
I didn't even mind the Turtles in Time one though, honestly.
Yeah. It's the weakest.
Some people think it was like, but after the first one, because it was kind of dark and everything, they like went a lighter direction with Secret of the Use, and it was still kind of light in the third one, obviously. At least the tone and the whole, they made a lot of jokes, obviously.
Yeah, the dark direction was the best, though.
Yeah, it was cool. No, it was sick, and like it actually had the backstory and everything. And
it made New York.
You cut off my ear.
Like, dark too.
Yeah,
you know? Like
no, it was
that
sick.
Setting.
And then they went to the farm to like hunker down for a little bit, and then came back, and it was like, oh shit, it's back on. It was dope. Yeah, no, that 1991. I think for sure it's hard to touch that one with anything they've come out with. I'm still, and that Mutant Mayhem I did like a lot, but I'm like,
it was a good one.
I don't think I can put that. You know, I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, none of these, as far as I'm concerned, have still beaten the original.
I mean, we sound like we're the old generation, but
we are. Well, in a way, but you know, here's the difference. You know, we're right. The millennials, they weren't right. Gen X, they weren't either.
Everybody's wrong with me.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And then whatever this new generation says, oh, this one was the best. No, it wasn't. Hey, we're true, we're honest, we're fucking authentic on this podcast is what we are. Like the takes or not, Adam. That one wasn't the best. You guys' Star Wars takes sucked. Shut up.
I mean, yeah, we don't even agree with each other on some of the takes, but it's like...
No, but
we
it's
put them
funny.
out there.
Because, like, we still think that, but we're still like, oh, yeah, whatever they think is still the horse shit. But, no, I know. It's never... Like, we're... There, it's funny because, like, it's... Normally we respect some of the best as what they are, no matter which one the other one, or if we agree on the favorite, and like we usually agree what some of the worst are. And then like it's some of the hot takes in between that I'll like a lot of times get something going. That's what's kind of what's funny.
Yeah.
Oh man. So you took Guardians, so it is getting whacked right now. So next up we got Guardians of the Galaxy, the original, or King Kong, 2005.
See, I feel like King Kong 05 was good, but it was like 45 minutes too long. It was like, bro.
Peter Jackson,
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
And he just loved, this gotta be 3 hours at least. I'm not gonna do it if it's not 3 hours. It's like, once he left the horror genre, he's just like, I'm gonna do 3 hour epics from now on.
Hey, he was a king.
Jack Black can do serious things.
It was crowned on monumental films like that, though.
Yeah. I think I'll give this one to Guardians.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that King Kong, though. That was a good one.
King, yeah. And I honestly...
And I enjoyed the 2014 Godzilla, too. Everybody can shit on that one.
Oh, wait, no, that one's good. And, like, honestly, I didn't think Skull Island was that bad, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty solid.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, the 05 one wasn't, it wasn't too bad. Like, I would be lying to say, like, oh, I'd rewatched it anytime, you know, recently or anything like that. But it wasn't bad. And, this one's a little bit sad now that I see it, too. But Guardians of the Galaxy, and I wasn't thinking about this when I slapped it on here, but I was like, we got to give somebody else a shout out. And I was like, I already kind of agreed, just we're like, we might stay away from a few certain franchises, but I threw it out there in this one. Batman Forever.
Yeah,
rest in peace to Val Kilmer.
Yeah. Rest in peace indeed. He had some great movies.
That was news of today, wasn't it?
Yeah, it happened yesterday, I think. But yeah, it broke overnight, I guess. Yeah, Batman Forever was one of those movies. Dude, I watched that. That was one I watched a lot growing up.
Yeah, same.
And the other one. For that, like, that alone, the nostalgia of that movie, like, Tommy Lee Jones, Two-Face, Jim Carrey's Riddler, like, everybody would be like, oh man, those were like some of the best villains to me, because I'm like, I just grew up with them as the villains, so they were like my interpretation of villains whenever I played with action figures and shit sometimes, you know, like, it was them, and it was like Danny DeVito as the Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, like, it was those characters,
yeah,
you know what
the
I mean?
80s and 90s Batmans.
So I'm probably gonna go with Forever, just for the childhood nostalgia of
It's
it.
that powerful.
Guardians of the Galaxy was probably a better movie overall. Like, I'm aware of that, but like, I have a lot more memories with Batman Forever. You know?
No, that makes sense, and like I would probably say a similar answer to that too. But yeah, so I was kind of thinking, off the mark that I was like, that might be one of the best ones to incorporate, because that, like, we had recently talked about the Dark Knight trilogy, so I was like, I'm gonna go Batman, but I think I'm gonna go an older one, and like that was my first instinct, and just so happened to line up with unfortunate news at the same time. So
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Val Kilmer, man. That's the thing too.
Iceman.
Yeah.
He was
Iceman. He was Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
He was in man, what was his character's name in Willow? He was in that movie too. Played like a knight.
So you took Guardians, and Guardians got beat 6-4.
60, yep.
It was close.
But yeah, it fought back in there.
Kind of, yeah.
From the beginning.
A lot of people be like, what?
Well, fuck.
Because that first one is pretty respected.
All right. Are you ready for yours?
I am prepared. We'll see what we got.
Yeah, we shall. All right. Let's just get right into it. Your main topic is going to be Rambo Last Blood.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll
Rambo
see how it
Last.
holds
See,
up.
and honestly, I damn near had Rambo 2008 in there instead, and I was like, that's gonna for sure like win over most things that I could probably put at the number one spot.
I don't know, you know.
So, it depended what the list looked like. But compared to what I had, I was like, no, that would probably get another victory for this. And that was even before I decided on Guardians, but I knew I wasn't going to pick anything knowingly that you held at the very top, and that was my thing. Because I'm like, I know that the 08 version might at least be at the top of your Rambo favorites. So I was like, considering that information, it might go over a lot of this stuff. And so I was like, and that's when I switched to Last Blood. Last Blood is still fucking sick, though.
It is good.
It was at least
Very
third
good.
best. I think we agreed in the Rambo series.
Yeah,
We probably agreed.
I didn't know, like, I wanted to make it a Rambo movie in the list, and I was like, I didn't know which one was your favorite one necessarily. So I was like, I'm gonna throw Last Blood in there because I knew you liked that one a lot.
I wouldn't mind going back and rewatching most of those, honestly, because I don't think we'd really watched them since me and you watched them, and then obviously shortly after that's when we probably binged.
I think I might have seen like I might have watched the 08 one, like maybe once since then. I don't even know before.
Yeah, I think you said you did.
First Blood or Last Blood. But yeah, I haven't watched them in a while.
I would have to watch them. I really don't remember too much from the part 2.
Or 3. 3 I feel like is one that I'm like, I struggle to remember a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so Rambo Last Blood. Or Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. The Davy Jones one.
I would probably have to go Pirates of the Caribbean on that one, maybe. Because I think that's like maybe the tip top of what I've seen in Pirates of the Caribbean, and I don't know. Rambo Last Blood was really good, but I feel like the high mark for the Pirates movies that I had seen might be that.
Yeah.
So, that taken into consideration, I would say maybe at least that over Last Blood. Last Blood might beat out some of the other ones, obviously, for me.
Yeah.
But I would probably say that.
Yeah, I think 1 and 2 in the Pirates series are both really good. And then it kind of is like increasingly a little worse every movie after that.
Last Blood's
3
like
wasn't horrible, but it was like, it was a downfall from the first 2.
Mhm.
And then it just kind of got more and more, come on, you know?
absurd.
Yeah, 2 was,
I feel like a lot of
Probably
people
my favorite as
like
well.
At World's End too.
yeah, it wasn't bad. But like, I liked Curse of the Black Pearl and Dead Man's Chest more.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so Dead Man's Chest wins out. So it's 0-1. So Rambo Last Blood or Spider-Man 2.
The original Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2.
I figured that was like your favorite. Wasn't
My
it?
favorite of the Tobey Maguire trilogy, yeah, for sure. Maybe my favorite Spider-Man, period. Well, and that's the thing, because honestly, I feel like the script was better in number 2 and everything. Like, everything was more flawless than 1. But I will say this. I thought Doc Ock was great. And I do think Alfred Molina did a phenomenal job playing him, but I personally like the Green Goblin more than Doc Ock.
Mm.
But that's like one of the only differences between, and like 1 is still great. Like I still really like that, and I would probably go 2, 1, 3 in the Tobey Maguire's trilogy. But I do like the Goblin as my number 1, probably Spider-Man villain. Maybe like Venom would be like maybe the one that would be the closest, but I think Green Goblin's the best. You know, you said the same. So that would be the main difference. I do think overall though, for sure, 2 was like close to flawless. Like the motivation, the actual real life relationship. Difficulties, struggles Peter Parker faced, like he was broke. It was such a real, relatable movie in like so many ways, and like everything about it like made sense, and there was like reasoning for like, and honestly that like trailer was still one of the best I'd probably seen for a movie ever. I would say the original Spider-Man 2.
Trailers nowadays, dude, give too much of the movie away.
Yeah, and that was a great trailer. So yeah, I would say Spider-Man 2.
Alright, so down 0-2, Rambo Last Blood. Let's see here. Rambo Last Blood or Night at the Museum.
The Ben Stiller movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Robin Williams, man.
Yeah.
The legend himself, Teddy Roosevelt.
I think I've only seen maybe that once or twice. I mean, I do remember it. It's just been some time. I mean, that being said, I would probably take Last Blood for sure. Like, here's the thing about Last Blood too, is like he whoops a lot of ass like always as Rambo, and it's a pretty simple story, but it's really it's fun. It's so much fun, you know.
Yeah, Night at the Museum, I probably would agree with you, but I really liked the concept for that movie.
Yeah, it's cool.
One like of the shit coming to life in the museum,
and Ben Stiller's a perfect actor to put in that scenario.
Yeah.
You know? He's going to be in the new fucking Happy Gilmore also, playing the old
dude. A lot of people are going to be in that fucking movie.
Yeah, I do hope it looks like it should be good.
It's just going to be a who's who, though. Like, oh, look,
it's going to be such a summer fun movie, though, on Netflix. Like, everybody's going to like flip it on and tune in. Like, it'll be fun.
I'll watch it.
They better take care of it. Adam Sandler, I hope, did, because that's like my favorite. It's like my favorite movie
of his. Yeah.
Of his, yeah.
So Rambo got on board. So Rambo Last Blood, and he counts them as one movie, so I'm counting it as one. Rambo Last Blood or Kill Bill, just as one story.
That's kind of what I thought you meant once you said he counts it as one. But it's like it's like 2 separate years to do it and everything. That's how he got around. Oh, this is my 10th movie.
It's volume 1 and volume 2.
Fucking. And then he'll come back.
Same story though.
He'll come back.
Continuation of the same story.
He'll come back after this 10th one and be like, "Oh, I'm making another
This is a continuation of Reservoir Dogs."
Yeah, and then he'll add on to all of them. No, hopefully not. He knows better not to degrade the work and shit. I've only seen Kill Bill 1 and 2 once. I actually will say too.
I love those.
I think it was when we watched them.
They might be my second favorite Tarantino project, following Pulp Fiction. Then after that, maybe Inglourious Bastards.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, yeah, Django. See, that's the thing. And then they got what fucking.
That's probably my top 5.
Yeah, Jackie Brown was like.
Some people like. That's the thing. I think
That one is
Jackie
good.
Brown's one of those movies that you either like get and you really like, or you're like, that's not like
Yeah.
the others, you know. And for me,
Have
it
you ever
just
seen The
wasn't-
Hateful Eight still?
Yeah, I watched that once, and I enjoyed it.
Reservoir
but
Dogs
it
was
wasn't,
great.
like- Reservoir Dogs was awesome. Yeah. I mean, he really didn't have much of a miss. You know what I mean? In any of his movies.
Yeah, I don't even really know how I would. Beyond Pulp Fiction being number one, I have no idea how I would rank them.
Yeah. I've like thought about it before. Tried to do that with a few directors, but it's like there's only a few that I've been enough of a fan where I'm like I'm gonna watch through most of their stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I think I've only seen Last Blood. I mean, we saw it in theaters, and I may have watched it once or twice after that. I don't know for sure. But I may have rewatched it a couple times. I would probably say, because of my familiarity, I would probably have to take Last Blood over it. But I would definitely watch the Kill Bills again. I would probably watch every Tarantino movie I've seen. I've still never seen The Hateful Eight, but I think I've seen everything else.
Yeah, I mean The Hateful Eight's another kind of like Western style one by him, but Django is definitely better.
Most of it takes place in like one room, doesn't it? The Hateful Eight, but most of Reservoir Dogs does too.
Yeah. That's classic filmmaking.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, it's a challenge if you can make a story, compelling story, take place in one room, you know? So, Rambo, tying it up, 2-2. Rambo Last Blood or Batman 89.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's nothing that I've definitely never thought to compare. So it's like it's not an easy thing. See, like, we don't talk about the 89 one all that much, you know?
Yeah, and that I really enjoy that one too.
Mhm.
Like, honestly,
A lot of times when they refer to Keaton as Batman,
those three.
they're more so referring to the 89 one than Returns.
Yeah.
Not that they're taking away from it, but I think most people think of that in like his, he's putting on the suit, he's the, Joker's opposition, like, as like, Michael Keaton's Batman, I think that is more of in their mind than Returns, even though he was obviously in both.
To me, I enjoy Returns more.
I do too.
But
I've still seen it a lot more
89
at this
great.
point too.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. Whenever I was young, I watched that one, Returns, and Forever, and Batman and Robin a lot because we had all of them.
Yeah. And like
So,
Mask of the Phantasm and
Sub-Zero.
and the
that one
animated
too.
movie too, or the animated show
Yeah.
and beyond. But yeah, all that stuff was my early, memories of it and everything. Damn. I would probably have to go Batman 89 actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that wouldn't be
probably
one
agree.
I would be opposed to watching either. Sometimes
It's a
soon
good
after
one.
watching it.
Jack Nicholson's Joker is actually like pretty damn good too.
It's pretty
Since
iconic.
there's been so many interpretations of Joker now, it's kind of been like buried in the shuffle, but he really has like his own comic booky spin to it, and it's pretty damn good. All right, so
Don't forget you are his number one guy. He's like, once he gets all like crazy and stuff, that's like all like that's where that came from too. That's where that came from. And then all of us started saying that too. The fucking.
All right, so 2-3. Rambo Last Blood is down.
Damn.
So Rambo Last Blood or Kick-Ass.
Probably Rambo Last Blood, But I found enjoyment out of Kick-Ass, and I'll probably rewatch Kick-Ass every few years, you know?
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was, I mean, it's obviously inspired off certain stuff, but it's also like a fun, original, you know, kind of parody movie while being that type of film at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah, it's still like a action-packed superhero movie while being like pretty damn comedic. There's like some dramatic moments in those movies though too.
Yeah. What do you know? Nick Cage has found himself in another one of these. He's in a lot of shit, man.
He is. All right, so tying it back up 3-3. Rambo: Last Blood or Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
All right.
Yeah, I would stick up for it. Like, not quite to the level of like Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, stick up for it. But I'll stick up for it because I thought it did a good job at displaying like still a strong, you know, nostalgic, like well-to-do Indiana Jones who was still getting after it and everything. And like I wanted him to be more like he was in the fifth one, like he was in the fourth one. Granted, like they took another like 15 years to make it, so like that wasn't exactly possible.
Yeah.
And I wish they had made it 10 years earlier.
Yeah.
But
I know that was like, I was worried about that even when they announced they were going to be making another one. I was like, oh.
Because it kind of derailed from some of what the story was going to be. You know, I really wish they had done that 3 to 5 years after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh yeah.
So
I know. I need to rewatch Dial of Destiny, but
yeah,
that was one that I remember leaving the theater, unfortunately, being like, man, I wish that was a little better.
It didn't quite feel like you left an Indiana Jones movie, you know?
Yeah. I did enjoy the time travel aspect.
Yeah.
Like some
That
of
I
that
did-
stuff was cool.
I wasn't pissed about that or anything.
But
That was actually pretty cool because like history too. Like they're like, oh,
Yeah.
we were dropped into that time. I would still say like what I told you before. I'm like, I think that is 5. You know, I could even rewatch
Oh, yeah, I
Kingdom, but
definitely would say so.
I don't think it's better. So, and I would even argue that Kingdom is better than The Last Crusade.
I might say so too.
So-
Still, that's the thing. That's
It's
the
not.
one that is the like battle for me.
It's
Is
not
those two.
gonna be better than Raiders or Temple, but
No.
it's.
God, no.
It might be middle of the pack, in my opinion. And I think, and I would even say Kingdom is maybe a little underrated. It's far from perfect, but I like it.
Yeah, everybody really shat on it when it came out. And it's like
They don't know shit.
it wasn't that bad
No.
when you.
No, and it was
compare
cool to
some
see
of
him
the
after
shit.
19 years come back.
Yeah.
It's like. So.
All right. So Indiana Jones takes it. It's 3-4. Rambo down by 1. Rambo: Last Blood or Jumanji 2017.
Yeah, I was thinking about including Jumanji, actually. Because that was like a really fun adventure movie, I felt like, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good time. There's a lot of like star power in that movie too, and a lot of like funny moments. It's kind of like a family movie, but everybody gets enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, like obviously Rambo, you're like, you know, you're gonna see him whoop some ass in any of his movies.
Oh, yeah.
So like that's kind of the draw, and like in the actual action adventure aspect, in a lot of ways, I could kind of make a case for like Jumanji being more of that, you know, fitting that kind of style, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I really liked Last Blood. That's kind of a, you know, tough to compare it, I guess.
Yeah.
I would maybe say Last Blood by a little bit. But Jumanji is like a perfect movie. Oh, I'm just gonna relax and chill and I fall asleep tonight.
Summer movie.
But it's even fun. It's just fun to even flip that on and like really any type of night that would be a fun movie to watch.
Background movie.
Yeah.
You're hanging out. It's just like one of those star-studded casts where they just kind of like bounce around.
And there's a lot of funny, silly shit in it too, and it's just like it is a great good time comedy. Slash,
so
actually.
you're taking Rambo though.
I am gonna take Rambo, I think.
So it's 4-4. Rambo: Last Blood or Jurassic World, first, 2015. First Jurassic World, the best one probably.
It was solid, yeah. I liked it. I mean, I've really liked most of the Jurassic universe stuff that they've made.
Yeah, some of the newer ones are like. I feel like the first Jurassic World is still the best of the Jurassic World ones, probably. But I'd have to watch the most recent one again because we saw it in theaters. But
Dominion.
Yeah.
And then all three of the original ones were all pretty fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like that original one, once again, Spielberg, man.
A lot of people did not like 2. I will say that I think I like 3 a little more than 2.
Mm-hmm.
But
1 the best?
Oh
yeah,
easily.
That was groundbreaking too. That was sick.
Yeah.
I would probably say Last Blood over Jurassic World. I think I've only actually seen Jurassic World 1 and 2, maybe once or twice. Not like a lot. I've seen the first 3 many times in my life, especially the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably say give that one to Last Blood also though.
All right, so it took the lead for the first time, up 5-4. So the last one here, ironic. Rambo: Last Blood or Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's kind of funny. That's really what you picked over all of the other Marvel movies?
Yeah, I put that.
That's crazy.
I debated on changing it.
There's so many that we could have picked.
Once you have that as my main, but I'm like, the irony is almost worth just leaving it in there.
Oh, for sure. No, it for sure is. If that was what you had, because like we could have picked anything in the MCU or I mean, I guess you did throw a Spider-Man in there too, but like any of that stuff, like there's so much you could have picked, and that's crazy. We both had that in there too. But that is one of the ultimate, and Guardians is another one that's great action, like while being an actual Marvel film, but like the soundtrack, the whole, it's such a great flowy superhero movie, So yeah, I'm gonna have to give that one to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
That's an even 5-5 split, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. That's
a
not
close
even
one.
purposeful, but yeah.
And mine was barely beat out, 4-6.
It's crazy because we both put Guardians over Last Blood too.
I know. That was honestly really close lists though.
Do you think
of our sides?
Do you think that 300 gets I don't really feel like I hear as many people bring that movie up anymore.
I know it's overshadowed now. It shouldn't be. People should go back and watch it.
Yeah.
National Treasure 2. What happened? Nobody talks about it. Go back and watch it.
Dude, I wouldn't mind watching both of those again. Like the National Treasures. Well, I mean,
I
or
300.
watched
them when I was out with a broken arm.
Did you? Yeah. Yeah, no, those are both solid. They're both good times. Well, we can go to break if you want.
Yeah. I'm down.
Alrighty, well, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Casting the Spotlight episode number 172, and it is now time for a good old-fashioned round of the good, the bad, and the shits. I believe this is edition 160 of the segment.
Wow, how'd you pull that one out?
I got them marked down, man. The rounds.
See, that's
Roman numerals.
I do not have the number.
I've had to stay sharp with what my Roman numerals are too, as long as we go with this. But there's obviously been exception episodes where we didn't get to it. But normally we at least get to one or a couple topics. Anywhere from 2 to 4.
Yeah.
Or 2 or 3 each. But anyhow, you can start off. You want
me to go first here?
Yeah, throw one out there.
All right. Well, MLB season just opened up. And just the overall kind of hype around opening day of MLB season. You think it's an overrated thing, or you think it doesn't get enough coverage?
I think opening day gets quite a bit of coverage, but that's the problem. Everybody acts like they're so fucking excited in the season. And I know there's 162 games, but you act as if you're going to stay engaged after opening day. Oh, I can't wait! 48 days! And bullshit like that leading up to it. And then they watch opening day and then they act like they don't give a fuck for 6 months. So I mean, I don't necessarily think opening day is overrated. I think people's intentions are, it's like, yeah, I get life, but it's so silly though sometimes too, because I'm like, some of you guys aren't even following. And I haven't been following it, but I actually don't act like I'm actively keeping up with baseball, but it's also hard to watch for all the reasons we've explained on a previous podcast. So, I would watch it more if it was more easily accessible, because then
I used to talk, and post and have a lot more to say about baseball. For years, and I haven't been able to really be engaged in it. I haven't really acted like when I keep up with the Cardinal stuff I see online.
Yeah, I don't even know our lineup nearly as well as I used to.
I know the Blues are kicking some ass right now, so let's go Blues. 10 straight wins.
I definitely can say I knew our lineup better at 8 years old than I do right now.
Yeah.
For
sure. I knew our lineup from probably the age of 6 to 15. I probably had it nailed down pretty good.
Yeah. At least probably a solid decade you knew what was going on. Maybe more.
Yeah.
I feel like at least through high school I knew what was going on with the team.
Yeah, I didn't keep up game to game as much. But I feel like football has always been easier to keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of always resorted to being my favorite sport, because it's
Is it because of scarcity of games though, or it's just the interest that drives you?
I think scarcity of games makes it as interesting as it is too, because it's you do want to catch every game, and everything feels like
everything is more important for sure. But I think the sport itself, in the way it's structured, in the way it almost resembles war in a way. A lot of sports do though, in a way.
Yeah.
But it's there's a lot of draws to sports, but that definitely helps. But obviously football's always been like that, because they've never went out and played 80 games in a extended period of time. But I don't know. I just like the way, and also the NFL is structured. The way it's all done is done so well. The games, the playoffs, the formatting is really agreeable with everyone. I always didn't like in hockey and basketball how half the league makes the playoffs. I think it's too generous, and I think you should have to work to be one of the more elite to make it. It should never be half, or in fantasy football that's a different thing, because there's only so many games, there's only so many teams, and whatnot. It's not the same, I don't think, as an actual team.
Yeah. Doing it,
but I just think it's too generous. You're almost giving everybody. It's oh yeah, well, all those teams aren't going to last very long. But it's it's to get more money in those markets and kind of open it up to more teams. But I'm just I feel like it would feel more special if only so many people got in
there.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That does make the playoffs feel more pristine, but I get the reasoning behind.
It's a
doing it
business
either way.
move, really. So, just like adding games to any schedule.
Yeah. It's the MLB, man. They probably need to shorten that shit.
I don't know if that'll happen.
Attendance is already down. Viewership's down. Y'all need to do, instead of doing all this other bullshit.
Some
you're doing,
people-
oh, we need a pitch clock. We need fucking
Some people,
challenge. What the fuck? We get shorter bases. We need. You can
Well-
use these torpedo bats now.
you can.
What the fuck are we doing?
That's not illegal though.
And I know, but it's like, I just feel like the game itself is becoming different in general. It's just like,
I don't disagree with the pitch clock, and they made the bases larger because the pitching got so dominant that they wanted to do things
well,
to
now,
increase.
dude, pitching's
Now you
gonna
can't
be
intentionally
pitchers are
walk
gonna get
people.
their asses whipped.
Now you can't walk people. You would think that, but still, like, if you're only getting 3 hits out of 10, if that, you're still getting out most of the time. Like, I don't think it's, they're gonna get that. This happens every so often though, where like pitching dominates the game, and then they gotta lower the mound or do something to create more offense. There's got to be take and give with it, but I don't disagree with the pitch clock. I don't disagree. It like speeds the game up and everything. But what I do disagree with, and I agree with him on a lot of things, is Colin's like talking about how he's like, all the big stars are in the right markets now, like the big markets and everything, because obviously money's like dominating it, and those that have money are utilizing it. Like Philly, the Red Sox, the New York Yankees, the Mets. The Dodgers, obviously they have a superstar team right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're going to lose hardly any games.
The Dodgers and the Yankees are.
Well, and the Yankees have been slapping the fuck out of them with those torpedo
They have
bats.
so many home runs.
But there's like a certain diameter weight, I think it's got to be, or length maybe. But you can like put the weight in any part of the bat. Like they were just talking about it and stuff. I don't think that works, for everybody. I think now, like, a lot of teams, they're like, this is going to be, like, the next thing, how people, like, different teams are going to try it, and they definitely will try it, because, just seeing it, because it's not going to work for everybody by any means, and, like, if you're already a power hitter that's hitting great without that, like, then, you don't really have to change it unless you just want to try it, but, like, it's definitely going to be a thing that's going to make its moves around the whole league now. I don't agree that it sucks because
it's not illegal.
It sucks because if a player is that great and he is on a smaller market team, the inevitability is at some point he's gonna go to a larger market just because they can offer him more money.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's kind of the shitty thing. Baseball's always been kind of like that,
and viewership and.
but it does suck because it also to me feels almost more lopsided than ever too. And the last few years the NFL has been really high at the top and really shitty at the bottom, like some of the teams. So it's kind of like but the thing is you can't even make that excuse for the NFL because a lot of it is ownership and management decisions because there is a salary cap, and the owners might all be billionaires, but some of them, like the Bengals one's a lot cheaper than somebody like. Honestly, the best fucking, the owner in the league, baby, because he does everything and contributes, and then kind of stays out of it, and he just wants to do his thing, but interact with the guys. Like Robert Kraft is like the best owner in so many kinds of of ways. He doesn't like overstep his bounds. He doesn't, he was always like, he's one of the best in the whole thing. And he's always given them what they've needed. Like, he's one of the best, I feel like, in the league as far as just, your hand's in it. It's yours. Obviously, you're the owner, but like he like lets them do their thing. He doesn't like overstep his bounds and,
Yeah,
but his bounds are really
know a whole lot of the owners.
Your bounds are really, I guess, whatever you want them to be if you're the owner, because you are the owner. But like, you should also know to a certain degree that you're out of your depth. You know what I mean? Is my point. Because nobody's gonna tell you that if you're the owner. But like,
you can do what you want with your team, but at the same time,
we've seen whenever they fucking meddle too much.
Oh yeah.
So. What the hell was even we were talking about? Oh, the NFL,
Opening day.
but still, like Cincinnati is. I mean, up until recently,
Yeah.
hasn't wanted to spend very much money, even though they all are billionaires and they could all spend money. But it's like there's a salary cap either way, and it did increase again this year on top of last year. But I think it almost doubled the increase from last year as it is now. But still, like, moves are hard to make. And the thing is, even though there's a salary cap, maybe the owner doesn't want to come close to what the cap is. Maybe he's like, spend as little money as you fucking can,
Yeah.
So
If you get away with it.
who knows?
But in most of the time nowadays, you can't.
So you still got to be somewhat conservative with the contracts. But the thing is, the game is constantly like everybody wants to be the next guy up, next guy. So like you almost got to pay him, otherwise he'll go elsewhere. And somebody else will. That's the problem. There's 32 owners.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of things I think that make football an attractive number one. And there's been talk lately. They're like, well, why in the U.S. is it not so? Because it's like here. I mean, there's people that love it, but it's like it's not even one of the 4 major sports. So
Yeah.
it's I guess it's becoming more popular in ways, but it's also a worldwide sport. But I just don't see it. I don't see it being bigger than a lot of these sports.
No.
Here,
not here. Yeah, it just because a lot of this stuff's so established as being that, the leagues have been a big thing for a while.
What was the thing? Opening day?
Opening day of MLB
Oh yeah,
season.
I'm gonna say fair because some of that stuff bothers me, but that's not opening day. Like I think its hype is justified because it is. Whether you're gonna watch a bunch of games or a few live or maybe not or watch them on TV, like the start of the season is exciting, And spring weather baseball is great. It's just there is definitely a certain feel to it in March, April, like whenever you get the early games going and stuff. It has its own.
Oh yeah.
Complete it's time. Like it always kind of feels natural to like get out there and watch a game too in this time, spring.
So early season vibes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
Or it gets too unbearable when you're out there in the bleachers in July and you're like, holy fuck.
On the
This was
bleachers.
a bad idea.
I
did that like once or twice. Ended up
Nice.
sitting like right field bleachers. The sun just beaming.
I never sat
middle
out
of the
there.
day.
I never wanted to sit out in the outfield.
Yeah, dude.
I always wanted to see
it was alright.
the angle from where I could see everything.
Yeah.
I guess is mine up next.
Yep.
All right. What do you think of just the principle in general of being a collector of things? Whether
I love it.
Whether it's cars, movies. Like I know people that collect vinyls. People collect. What were those things people used to collect? Cabbage Patch Kids or something like that.
Yeah, people collect precious moments, those porcelain doll things.
There's a lot of people that just have their sort of thing that they
The
like
American
to
Girl things
acquire. You have a bunch of like knives, don't you?
Yeah,
you,
I have
you consider
knives.
yourself
I mean,
a
I
knife
have, like,
collector
some,
to some extent. It's not really
a
a hobby.
little bit. Yeah. I mean, I have like different, collectibles and things too, from like horror stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like wrestling figures and stuff and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's cool. I've never when people have really cool collections of things, I think it's dope. I almost might feel like it's a little underrated because I think a lot of people kind of shit on it.
Even those people, though.
It's like if it brings somebody a little bit of joy, and they're not harming anybody and they're not killing themselves financially doing this, then what's really the harm? If they make I've seen some people set up dope, at home DIY bar areas and stuff with their collections on the walls and different things. I saw a person too set up a whole VHS store basically, like a 90s looking VHS shop in their basement. It was like a walk-in with like the shelves and like horror, sci-fi, action, comedy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, man, there's some dope setups out there. You people can shit on it, but it's pretty neat. I mean, like, really, what is the harm in somebody having a collection, you know?
No.
Like I said, if it's not financially fucking them, then, like, what's the problem?
Yeah. I think even the people that don't, they're like, oh, why are you doing that? Like, it's funny because they have their own thing. Even if it's not something that's, maybe it's something that more looks like it's a need, not a want. Like, they'll be like, oh, no, collect anything, spend money on that shit. But meanwhile, they got 12 suits in their closet. It's like, well, I mean, it looks like you kind of collect suits. You know what I mean? Like, you have, everybody has something that they're spending
money on.
Out of the ordinary money funneling into something else. You know what I mean? Like, basically. Like, towards that thing. And maybe it's every now and then, or maybe it's only something that you collect over, like, time or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely think I've collected things over a while.
I kind of collect them, too.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Shit ton of movies.
Yeah. I'm like...
As a kid, like, you almost... I don't know if that's just your wiring or what, but like you kind of go through habits where you do collect certain things. You're like, oh, I want all these. I want this type of thing, and then you know.
Yeah. Always think about how you're gonna set them up and stuff.
I was looking at my. Speaking of that, actually, I was looking through my old stuff that I still have at Pawpaw's. You know, like my totes and everything, and I found those Burger King Star Wars toys that came out on the road to like Revenge of the Sith that year in 2005, like the you know, and I still have a bunch of them, probably like at least 24 of them, maybe more than that.
In the early to mid 2000s,
they were sick and they were sweet
Burger
fucking toys.
Had some, yeah,
and
had some sick toys.
And for a while, like we would only go there whenever wasn't on my accord, but if mom, you know, whenever Harry would come over and stuff like that. Like, we would go to Burger King a lot and go to Festus, like me, him, Haley, Corey, and like whenever I would get one of the kids' meals or whatever, and like that would come with it, that was like the toy. That was like one of the best toys that you could do, and like that was on the way to like Revenge of the Sith coming out, and even during its run, and I had a ton of them, like, you know, just from that, and it was really cool though, because like that was one of the better ones, and like people did start collecting those.
Yeah.
The Darth Vader one with like Anakin inside of it was like apparently like a rarity. Like, I'm sure in its newer form it would be like it was unopened. I have one, but it's been opened. It's probably still worth something though. And somehow I got that one. But yeah, that was something that just is out of my mind. Like, but I got that one, and I pretty much had most people.
Yeah, dude, some of those older toys, I mean, again, sound like an older generation thing, but like the action figures and shit when we were kids were just, they were like basic, but they were like the perfect basic, because they were like, that's when they got good enough to where they had them bending at the elbows and the knees, so you had like all the movements, but they weren't all this outrageous bullshit they were trying.
Yeah, they were.
Eventually they got, oh, you twist his fucking body and he does a flip, and it's like, I just want a figure.
Yeah.
I want him to just be the guy.
And I don't like that type of shit sometimes, because if that means like there's a stick in his back that doesn't need to be there, then why the fuck is the stick there? Like, I don't want that. I would rather be able to do whatever. Like, have him fucking do his own shit.
I don't want a knob back there that I got.
Oh, you gotta. Why? I'm not even gonna use this when I have it.
I just want the dude. Yeah.
I always kind of felt like that too. I was like, I hated where they put those sticks in their backs and shit. I was like, if I always looked at the wrestling to see if to make sure they didn't have one of those things. And his arms go up and down.
Oh yeah, that shit's.
Who's that for? I don't even use them for that.
It's like, yeah, dude, if it's a wrestling guy, I don't want his body to be in one position.
Yeah.
It's like I want him to be able to move around and do a lot more than just a fucking body slam. Yeah, that was the problem with those like WCW toys. A lot of times is they had
some of the TNA ones did that bullshit too. WWE's were good for a long time. Like even whenever they were rubber ones, like they were kind of in a fixed position, but they were still like pretty. They became more detailed rubber ones, but then they started making the plastic ones. They were like you could do all kinds of shit with.
Yeah,
and that was sick. But yeah,
the rubber arms and shit. Those ones were ridiculous.
That other than like movies or something like that is obviously one of the biggest things I ever collected. Like as a kid, I mean, I had more wrestling guys than fucking anything. But I also had like a bunch of just stuff we're fans of. Obviously, like some superhero action figures, some Ninja Turtle stuff.
I had a lot of Batman shit.
Batman guys too.
But yeah, collecting, I'd probably say a little underrated, maybe. Yeah. I feel like it kind of gets a bad rep, but everybody kind of does it. As long as it's not hoarding. The only time you ever hurt anybody with collecting is when you die. That's it. Because then it's like, it's shit that held a lot of sentimental value to you, so your loved ones are like, damn it. They don't want to just like donate it or give it away because it also could have some value to it as well, but they don't just want to like sell it because it was yours.
You're caught not knowing what to do with
it. So there's like a fuckload of this shit that you're just like, what do I even do with all that
shit? Yeah, I've been in that situation where I didn't know what to do with some of the shit.
So that's like the only time collecting's really a bad thing, but like it's kind of like that's a morbid but funny thing to think about. It's like the only time you're hurting anyone with collecting is when you pass away.
Yeah, it does suck because you're literally caught in between the perfect like fork in the road. You're like, I don't want to give it, I don't want to get rid of it because it might be worth something. / also like it being important to them was like, fuck, what do I do? So it's like, it's a real dilemma.
Yeah.
You just whenever it's not something you're interested in, you're just hoping you're not getting it. All right, it's like somebody else take it.
Yes.
But that I want that. Oh man,
that's kind of how
it's honestly upsetting because a lot of families after somebody passes, like a grandma or like the whoever, the mom or like the dad, just whoever, it's just that's when so many fights happen to where people stop talking to each other. I don't know why, and I don't know why that sort of thing always happens.
There's a lot of high emotion going on.
That's why people should write a will, just so things are clear on what they were supposed to do with what.
Yeah. And then also if the family's not super close anyways, and they don't always get along or see eye to eye anyways, then it's more likely for things to just get out of control. It's
usually after that person that ties the family together passes, mixed with who's getting all the possessions. Like those two things make so many families never talk again.
Yeah.
It's like that though, like that exact scenario is like something that I've heard of over and over and over. Like it's just stuff, I mean, like sometimes obviously it's bigger than that, or if it's like a significant sum of money, or if it's there's assets and there's other things that have obviously some value. But it's like, I don't think you should put the weight of your existence into it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't been in this scenario either, so.
Yeah.
But.
I mean.
Yeah. But yeah, collecting.
It's something that is like, it's sad and it's dark and you don't want to, but you should prepare.
Yeah. I don't think writing a will necessarily has to be dark. It's just kind of like, I'm going to get stuff in order. It feels like that, but it's also smart to think ahead. The same as like leaving your bank accounts to someone, like, doing your thing, like, is not a bad idea just in case something happens, because then it goes right to whoever it is instead of there being a whole legal process, because then that'll be a whole thing, So you could just sign it over to one person and be like, if anything happens, at least this goes to you, and I already signed off on it, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sentence at least is done. It's nothing you want to put too much thought into, or like, oh well, if I die, just you're not trying to go down that road of actually thinking that might happen, but
yeah,
it's never a bad idea to prepare. So, I mean, that's kind of just even what insurance is. It's like you really don't want to use it, but at least if shit hits the fan, you got it, and you should be taken care of. Some insurance is better than others.
Yeah.
And they also
tries
it's like
to somehow get out of it every
they do.
time you need it.
They do.
Oh, well, we only partially cover. No, bullshit, you only partially cover nothing. I pay you every fucking month.
Because you have to have full coverage, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I do, I think. I think I do.
Well, because, I was going to say, because, I think
do.
are you...
Because, I mean, I don't think everybody has to.
No. But whenever you have a loan anytime
you can
for
take
anything,
liability.
you have to whenever you get a loan.
Like, yeah, that's the thing.
Because they're like, we're not going to sign off on this on the risk that you're not going to fuck this car up.
Yeah.
So they're like, you have to if you what.
But also, it's like most of the time you take out a loan, it's a car that, is pretty decent and it's going to last you a while. Sometimes if you get in liability, it's like, if you get to pay out of pocket for it, now that it's a bad car, but it might be an older car or something that was just like kind of cheaper.
Yeah, if you're an experienced driver and it's probably like an older car, that's probably not the worst idea. If you're like, I just don't see the reason to do it, and you're unlikely to get in any sort of damage or whatever. But you never know. I mean, but I know plenty of people that just have that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. It's once again though, you gotta prepare. It does suck though, because over and over and over months can go by where you have this insurance or dental insurance and this and that, and you might not use it, and then you just feel like in those times you're just pissing money down the drain. You're like, what am I even? You're like, I have so much money coming out from this every month.
Yeah. It does suck. Yeah, when you get older, man, you have to get, you got all these bills and paying insurance on these things and this and that. It's just like seeing your money all the time get drained. That's why you got to buy your collectibles, so you have a little piece of happiness. So you're like, there's still something that brings you joy. I got a new shirt coming. I got a new book coming. I got a new movie or whatever you're into, man.
Yeah.
Whatever you like doing.
So you said underrated?
I think so.
Collecting, basically in general. All right, what do you got next?
Well, just saw Death of a Unicorn, and we brought her up recently. She's in everything. I've really got nothing against her. What do you think of Jenna Ortega? She, like we said, her and Timothy Chalamet, they just feel like they pop up in everything.
They're definitely like the ones right now that are like male to female, like in so much.
Yeah.
And like kind of a lot of the big stuff too, just boom, 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 boom. Like they're just being casted and everything. But I mean, I don't blame them. Fuck, I mean, might as well take every role and shit. But it does feel like it's just like, man, there's so many people out there. But that's also like mainstream films. You gotta, if you think about it, because a lot of the stuff on all the streaming services, there's a lot of other people being, casted. So there's just so many studios now. There's so much content being made.
A lot of other people still being casted, but it's like, it does just feel like their faces pop up in a lot of things.
They're the ones in a lot of the mainstream stuff. I mean, they've both been in stuff that's not mainstream, but like they're the ones that are sort of at that height that you see their faces a lot, because they're two of the faces right now, two of the emerging faces in Hollywood. Really, I would say they have emerged because they've both been in a lot of stuff already.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously their popularities, people are still recognizing who they are. but they have been in a lot of stuff already. And their movies, I mean, if yawning. If Chalamet's been in like multiple of those Dune movies, he's been in like that Wonka movie, like he's been in a bunch of stuff already.
Yeah,
he's already
had
becoming
a lot of big roles.
Yeah, he's already becoming a pretty like household name.
Jenna too. I mean, she's had a lot of big roles at this point too.
Well, both those Scream movies, Beetlejuice,
Mm-hmm.
probably a bunch of other shit that I can't even.
She's Wednesday.
Yeah, there's like 7 or 8 other things outside of that even that I've seen her in, but she's been in a bunch of stuff. Yeah,
Her
she.
and Paul Rudd were in Death of a Unicorn. They were like 2 of the big stars in it. I'm like, these 2 specifically, because Paul Rudd's in a bunch of shit too.
Mm-hmm. He's been around a while. He looks the same age as he did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I would say fair, because I haven't disliked her really in anything I've seen her. She's been pretty close to herself in most of the stuff I've seen her in.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
She hasn't really gone too far out.
I don't
think.
In any way dislike her, but she does have a Jenna Ortega kind of shtick. You know? She plays similar-ish characters in a lot of movies.
Yeah, I would say that too. She hasn't gone like too far out of.
Which she'll age out of that at some point, and then she'll, we'll see if it kind of progresses. Same with Timothy Chalamet, like he's gonna get older.
And they're also still like, while they're the age that they are and they look, they're gonna get a lot of roles like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That fit around that time of their life. So it's like.
So I mean, it's just that's how it goes with actors. It's
because they both look like freaking baby faces.
Yeah.
Like it's.
So they're still getting like the young characters and everything, basically, even though they're like, probably around our age.
Yeah. Give or take. Fuck, they're probably both younger.
They might be. Yeah. Let's see here, actually. Jenna Ortega. Yeah, she's way younger, bro. She's 22.
Really?
Yeah.
And she's already been in that much stuff?
Timothy Chalamet is 29.
Okay. When's his birthday?
Oh, shit. I glanced at his age. Let's see. December 27th, 1995.
Ah, he's a few months older than me. Yeah, I mean, she probably grew up somewhat in acting then if she was in that many roles that early.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of shit already.
Yeah,
I thought she was older because of that.
I thought she was at least.
I thought she was like 25.
I would have guessed 25 because I'm like, that's still young enough that she could have been in a lot of this stuff. But how the fuck does that even make sense?
Yeah.
22.
It's like I feel like I've seen her in things for years at this point.
When she filmed that first Scream, I guess she did look really young though in that first. I mean, a lot of that stuff, but holy shit, like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess too for her age, she's pretty good actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've both been good, but yeah, I would say fair because I haven't I mean. I can't say any of her performances they haven't done anything negative for me to like her character, or the movie or whatever she was in any less. I mean, I can't necessarily say it's made it or anything either, you know. But I've never had any really any negative comments to say about her character. But I would say that though. It sticks close to. How she is, I guess, to some degree. But I think eventually she'll take more risks in the more movies that she's probably casted in the lead or the co-lead. We'll see more of that, But I mean, if she's still got a long way to go, though. So, assuming she wants to act for a long time. So,
let's see how it goes.
All right, I guess I got one more here, huh?
Yep. What do you got?
What do you think of theatrical re-releases? So movies that have already had their first kind of time in theaters. So you got some that are like, all right, well, we're trying to break records and we're gonna release multiple times within a few years and shit like that. They'll like try to rush the re-release out and stuff. But then there's movies where like this year and last year, like I went to go see The Phantom Menace because it was the 25-year anniversary in theaters, and like that was like, okay, well, it's, you know, kind of an event. We'll get people back in the theater, and people did flock to theaters to watch it. And I was like, it would be cool because I think that was the one I didn't watch in theaters. You know I saw Attack of the Clones, and I know for a fact Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. But I was like, it would have only been 3, and I'm like, I don't think they took me to watch it, but I don't have complete closure on that, but I'm kind of doubting I went if I was only that age, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I know once we got the VHS of it, I know I watched it at home and stuff, but like that stuff is fun, I think, because like I've really been considering, I'm like, I would go see Revenge of the Sith, the 20-year anniversary this year.
Yeah.
Because like, why not go see it that long after, you know? I think it could be cool though. Kind of real. I mean, you see it all the time, and it's not just for anniversaries. Sometimes they'll just go like, "Oh, we're gonna throw this back in."
They did that with like Harry Potter. Some of those, were back in theaters, and like around Christmas, they do it with some of those classic movies, and Halloween.
And they've re-put Halloween in there. Yeah.
I saw they do like with Scream and the original Halloween and a couple other ones like last year, like Nightmare on Elm Street, I think the first one, and. I mean, it's kind of neat sometimes for sure. Like it'd be really cool to see like Scream in theaters, you know, the first Scream, and shit like that. Like, there's a handful of movies I would like to have the chance to view in theaters as a fan of movies, you know. So, in that instance, I'd probably say maybe a little underrated. I haven't gone to a lot of them though, so. Like, I will say, I guess I'll actually say fair, because I don't think it should be overdone by any means. But
they have a lot of movies come out all the time.
Yeah.
Most times of the year, of films of, you know, past and present. I mean, most of the time it's stuff from.
There does seem to be a lot of throwback stuff, but it's like, it almost should feel kind of like an event.
Yeah.
If a movie from the past comes back in theaters, you know.
And I think sometimes Ronnie's, or they don't have other, or they don't want to buy other rights to, like, you know, projects like to show them in there. They'll just put stuff that was older. Oh, we're gonna show this for. But normally that doesn't take up like a large, like it'll have a few showings on like a Sunday or you know, one of the days of the week. But I don't think it's. But they do it most of the year. I would say like it's. You know, there's a lot of old stuff back in theaters. And I know this year, I think they were releasing, like, I don't know what they were doing with, like, Lord of the Rings trilogy. If they were putting them all back into theaters, or just one or two of them, or what they were doing. But I know Revenge, that's supposed to be a thing. So. And really, whenever I saw the Dark Knight trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy back to back to back, like the 9-10 hour thing. Those were re-released because, you know, to lead up to the finale. So I was like, that was epic. But it was so fun because like that for a long time was.
Yeah, that was just kind of like.
I was like, that might be my number one experience
the build
ever.
Up to the end of the trilogy though, so that's kind of like a little different. It's just like an event, you know. But yeah, that would be a lot of fun. To do something like that, if it was like the third installment in something, or even a sequel to something, to have a film of it where it's like, oh, we're gonna air the first one.
And that one, they timed it to where it would air at midnight too, because like that was still whenever the movies would come out at midnight, not really before that.
Make for a long night, but it was always cool.
That was like one of my all-time, like 3 of the most, man, I think I've said this before, but 3 of my favorite, not counting like necessarily when I was a kid, but like the last 10-15 years that were my favorite ones. Like, I mean, the Halloween one that we had was legendary, the Force Awakens premiere, and that Dark Knight Rises one. Like, those 3 were a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. The Dark Knight, yeah, that was like probably one of my most memorable experiences too.
And we saw that with my grandpa. Me and Papa and Corey saw it.
Yeah, those were great. It's another era of my childhood that I look back on a lot. Is the Dark Knight trilogy, like those films coming out, because I saw them in theaters. And I remember them all like coming out. Good times. Batman just has always had like nostalgic effects for me. It feels like I remember all the different eras of like watching all the different Batman films and like when all the Dark Knights came out.
Yeah, we got like Denny's with Brian, like JP, Dom, and like when we saw the Dark Knight Rises, like the three of them in a row. It was like, I think we got that at like 2 or 3 in the morning and shit.
Did you guys all go see it?
Yeah, there was like a group of. It was only like $20 to see all 3, and you got 25% off. He thinks it's something else because it's like, I think it's because the rug's all like.
Yeah, just move it back out.
Yeah. He thinks it's something else.
It's fine, bud. Oh, cats. Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah, it was like a 25% off all concessions while you're there, and it's only $20 to see all 3.
Wouldn't be now. It'd be like 40.
Summer 2012.
40 would be a deal now.
Yeah.
$20. No way.
And 25% off concessions.
Yeah, maybe that would happen.
I still have like the lanyard.
You get free refill.
I still have the lanyard somewhere. But yeah, well, you ready to wrap it?
Yeah, if you are.
Alrighty, well, ladies and gentlemen.
Some sleep on.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to another great edition of Casting the Spotlight, and we hope everybody's doing well out there. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you on the next episode.